Welcome to the Make and Design Podcast. I'm your host, Carina Gardner. On this podcast, we're unraveling the everyday joys and dilemmas of design, making, and business. For makers who want to be designers and for designers who are makers, this is your inside scoop to help you grow your business and bring more creativity to your life. If you are the designer who wants to do it all, like you want to do the fabric lines, the Cricut, the Silhouette, images, the clip art, the sticker sheets, you know who you are. You know I am speaking to you today. I actually started thinking about this podcast episode because I recently got off a call with one of my university members. Usually I don't do a call with university members, but it reminded me of how so many of you who come into my Design Suite program come because you want to do it all. And you have seen that I have done it all, and so you're trying to figure out the way to do it all. And I want to give you guys some tips and tricks today as I talk about it to make sure that you understand how you can do it all. You can do it all, but you just have to think about it smart and have a realistic vision of what doing it all actually means. So over the last 14 years, I have been a fabric designer, a paper designer, a silhouette designer. I'm still most of these things, if not all of these things. I have sold digital products. I was the creative director of a company. I have products in I've done products in dishware and jewelry and printables. I've white labeled a lot of products. When you walked into a craft store, there was a good chance you saw my paper lines, but they were under a different brand. So I've done all kinds of different kinds of design work in order to make the kind of money I have as a designer. And so many of you want those different multiple streams of income. That's what I talk about in Design Bootcamp because I want to get you there so that you can come along with me for that ride. So here is the deal. You can't have it all at one time. And I think that's the biggest thing I want to stress to you because so many of you are like, I want it all, and you want it all right now. You guys, I didn't get it all at one time. In fact, what I'm talking about is what happened over the span of 14 years. So here's the strategy I really want you to take away today. And it's one that I've talked about before, but I want to talk about it in this context so that you understand what you need to do so that you can move forward as a designer. So the number one thing you can do is hyper focus on one thing right now that will move the needle in your business. Now, why do we need to hyper focus? The first is we need to get so good at the thing that we are doing that we become the expert in it. We're so good that we are just pushing forward, moving forward, and making momentous leaps in our design business. Now, how do we measure that, you guys? That's one of the things I think very often designers are like, we're not measurers. Like, I don't really love measuring things. I just want to design and I want to put it out there, right? We can measure it by number of sales, okay? We can measure it by amount of money. Those are two ways that are very, very clean, right? We can say, oh, I made 5 sales this week, or I can say I made $25 this week, right? These are things we can actually measure. Or we can do it by period of time, number of shops, number of contracts. I personally really like to measure by number of sales or money made because that really helps me get a clear picture on what I'm hyper focusing on. So what I find is when we start something brand new, say we are becoming a surface pattern designer and we're starting right from the get-go trying to figure out how to design, I don't even know what, some kind of surface pattern, okay? And then we put it in the shop, and then about a week later we make one more design, and then we put that in the shop. Now, you guys might be listening to this and you're like, oh, that's exactly how I do it. There are others of you who go, oh, I don't even have time for that. And then there are others of you, and I'm hoping those of you who are in Design Suite know that if you are doing this and you're not getting results, there is a reason for it. First of all, it's not enough design work. Second of all, you're not really hyper-focusing. You've got too much space between the amount of design work you're doing and how much you're putting out into your shops, okay? So we got to do more, right? the reason hyper-focusing is so successful and you're doing it so much, you're like designing, the reason it works so well is because it takes a lot to get started. And when I say get started, I mean 2 or 3 months. Even if you are a professional designer, it takes time to push forward. We've been doing this in 2 different shops. We started 2 new shops, 2 different marketplaces that we've been working on. And I have a team helping me. It's not even me by myself at this point, you guys, anymore. And a year ago, it was all me, just production. And I have a team helping me now. And we have been doing it, and you guys, we have not gotten great results. Why? Because we're at the beginning stages of these shops. And that's one of the things that people don't understand. I understand it, so it doesn't bother me. I know that a few months down the road, we're going to be raking in money from these shops because we're being smart about it right now and we're pushing forward slowly and surely. But most people don't have enough long-term vision or hyper focus on what they're doing in order to get the results that they really want. And that's my advice to you today. That if you want to do all the things, we do all the things by stopping and doing one thing at a time. Multitasking is not a thing, you guys. We should not be multitasking. We should be doing one thing at a time. If you like this episode and you want to learn more, go check out my Instagram feed at Carina Gardner. We are giving a ton of PDFs away over there. Go check out what PDF I am giving away today. So just go check it out and you'll see that if you just read the comments, you can see what PDFs we have that are just fun for you to learn a little bit more about design. I hope I get to see you there, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.